I, 29F, am still shaking as I write this. My sister Emma's 32F wedding was supposed to be yesterday, and I think I might have destroyed her life. But I also think I might have saved it. I honestly don't know anymore. Some background. Emma and I have always had a complicated relationship. She's the golden child, beautiful, successful marketing executive, always perfect at everything. I'm the artsy younger sister who barely makes ends meet as a freelance graphic designer. Our parents worship the ground Emma walks on, and she's never let me forget that I'm the disappointment. Emma got engaged to David, 35M, about 18 months ago after dating for 2 years. David seemed perfect, handsome surgeon, drove a Tesla, bought Emma a huge ring. My parents were over the moon. I was happy for Emma, but something about David always felt off to me. He was charming, but in this calculated way that felt performative. Still, I kept my mouth shut because Emma was happy and I didn't want to be the jealous sister causing drama. The wedding planning was a nightmare. Emma became this absolute bridezilla, and since I'm the artistic one, I got voluntold to do all the design work for free. Invitations, programs, decorations, everything. We're talking about $8,000 worth of work that I did for exposure and family. When I asked if I could at least get credited as the designer somewhere, Emma laughed and said, "No one will care who designed this stuff." But I sucked it up because it's her wedding, right? Fast forward to last week. I was at a coffee shop downtown working on the final wedding programs when I saw David, with a woman and 2 young kids. At first I thought maybe it was just a friend or colleague. But then I watched this man, who was supposed to be marrying my sister in 6 days, kiss this woman. Not a friendly peck. A full-on, romantic, lingering kiss while the kids, maybe 6 and 8 years old, were calling him daddy. I sat there for 20 minutes watching them interact like a perfect little family. The woman was wearing a wedding ring. The kids clearly adored David. They were talking about normal family stuff, soccer practice, what to have for dinner, whether they could get ice cream. I felt sick. I followed them outside. I know, creepy, but I was in shock, and heard the woman call David honey and mention something about their anniversary dinner next month. David saw me and his face went sheet white. He mumbled something to the woman about work and practically ran to his car. I didn't know what to do. I spent 3 days agonizing over this. I considered 1. Confronting David directly. 2. Hiring a private investigator. 3. Minding my own business. 4. Telling Emma immediately. I decided to do some digging first. I'm pretty good with internet research, occupational hazard of being a designer, so I started looking into David's background. Holy shit. David has been married to Rebecca, 34F, for 12 years. They live in a suburb about 45 minutes away. The kids are Sophia, 8, and Marcus, 6. David's social media was locked down tight, but Rebecca's wasn't. She had hundreds of photos of their happy family life going back years. Recent posts about their 12th anniversary, family vacation to Disney World last month, the kids' recent soccer games where Daddy coached from the sidelines. There was no indication that they were separated, divorced, or having any problems. Rebecca posted about David's long hours at the hospital and how proud she was of her hardworking husband. Her most recent post, from 3 days ago, was about how excited she was for their family camping trip next weekend. The camping trip that was supposed to happen the day after David married my sister. I felt like I was going to throw up. This man was planning to marry Emma while his wife was planning their family vacation. What was his endgame here? Keep both families? Abandon Rebecca and the kids? I couldn't figure out how he thought this was going to work. I called my best friend Kate, 30F, crying and told her everything. Kate said I absolutely had to tell Emma, but she also said I should have proof because Emma would never believe me otherwise. David has always been really good at making me look like the dramatic, jealous sister. So I did something that was probably illegal. I created a fake Instagram account and met Rebecca, pretending to be someone who thought she knew her husband. I said I'd seen David around town, and wasn't he getting married soon? I was praying she'd say they were divorced or separated. Rebecca responded within an hour. She was confused and said no, they weren't getting married. They'd been married for 12 years. She asked where I'd heard that and seemed genuinely puzzled. Then she said something that broke my heart. David's been working such long hours lately preparing for this big surgery next week. He's barely been home, but that's just how dedicated he is to his patients. The big surgery was Emma's wedding and honeymoon. I screenshot everything and called Emma. I told her I needed to see her immediately. It was about David, and it couldn't wait. Emma got annoyed and said she was busy with last-minute wedding stuff, but I insisted. I showed Emma everything. The photos, the social media posts, Rebecca's messages, everything. Emma's reaction was not what I expected. First, she accused me of making it all up because I was jealous of her happiness. Then she said, I probably hired actors to stage the coffee shop thing. When I showed her Rebecca's Instagram with 12 years of photos, Emma said I'd probably hacked some random family's account and photoshopped David's face onto another man. I was literally showing her a photo of David at Sophia's birthday party last month, a party that happened while he was supposedly working late, according to Emma, and she insisted it was fake. Then Emma called David, crying, and told him I was trying to ruin their wedding with crazy lies. I could hear David on speakerphone doing this Oscar-worthy performance about how he couldn't believe I would stoop so low, how he'd never been married before, how he was hurt that Emma's own sister would try to sabotage their happiness. Emma hung up and told me I was dead to her. She said I was banned from the wedding, and she never wanted to see me again. She called our parents, and within an hour, I had my mom screaming at me for destroying Emma's life out of jealousy, and my dad telling me I was a disgrace to the family. But here's where I might be the asshole. I didn't let it go. I couldn't sleep that night knowing Emma was about to marry a man with a secret family. So I did something nuclear. I found Rebecca's phone number and called her. I told Rebecca everything. I sent her Emma's Instagram, photos from the engagement party, screenshots of Emma posting about wedding planning, everything. I told her that her husband was getting married to my sister in 2 days. Rebecca went silent for a long time. Then she said she needed to call me back. 2 hours later, Rebecca called me back, crying. She'd confronted David, and he'd confessed everything. He'd been leading a double life for over 2 years. He told Rebecca he was working extra shifts and staying at the hospital overnight, but he was really living with Emma part-time. The plan was to marry Emma, continue seeing Rebecca and the kids in secret, and eventually stage his own death in a few years so he could disappear with Emma and start fresh. He had life insurance policies that would pay out to both families. Rebecca would think he died in a car accident or something. Emma would think he died in a surgical accident. And David would be living somewhere tropical with a new identity. I wish I was making this up. Rebecca packed up the kids and left immediately. She went to stay with her parents and filed for divorce the next morning. She also called David's hospital and reported him for fraud. Apparently, he'd been falsifying his schedule records to maintain his alibis. The wedding was supposed to be yesterday. At 8 a.m., Rebecca showed up with her lawyer, her parents, and her 2 confused kids. She found Emma at the bridal suite getting her hair done and told her everything. According to my mom, who called me screaming, Emma had a complete breakdown. The wedding was canceled an hour before the ceremony. 200 guests were told not to come. The venue, caterer, photographer, everyone had to be paid anyway. We're talking about $60,000 down the drain. David tried to run but got arrested at the airport. Apparently, this wasn't his first time doing this. He had another family in Oregon that he'd abandoned 5 years ago under similar circumstances. The FBI is now involved because he crossed state lines to commit fraud. Emma hasn't spoken to me. My parents are furious and blaming me for everything. They said I should have minded my own business, and that now Emma's life is ruined and it's all my fault. My mom said I was vindictive and couldn't stand to see Emma happy. My dad said I should have just let Emma marry David and figure it out later because lots of people have messy pasts, and maybe David would have eventually divorced Rebecca properly. But here's what's eating at me. Rebecca's kids. Sophia and Marcus have now lost their dad, their stability, their home. They're asking Rebecca why daddy lied to them and when he's coming home. Rebecca is a part-time nurse who is depending on David's surgeon salary. She's going to struggle financially as a single mom. Did I destroy 2 families to save one? Would it have been better to let Emma marry David and hope it worked out somehow? My friend Kate says I absolutely did the right thing, and my family is insane for blaming me. She says Emma and Rebecca both deserve to know the truth, and those kids deserved better than a father who was planning to fake his own death. But I can't stop thinking about how if I just minded my own business, at least Sophia and Marcus would still have their dad. Even if he was a lying piece of shit, Rebecca would still have financial security. Emma would be happy, even if it was based on a lie. The worst part, I found out that David had been planning to get Emma pregnant immediately after the wedding, before staging his death. So there could have been another innocent kid caught up in this mess. I've lost my entire family over this. Emma won't speak to me. My parents have basically disowned me, and I'm questioning everything. Part of me wonders if I did this because I genuinely wanted to protect Emma, or because I was jealous of her perfect life and wanted to tear it down. So Reddit, am I in the wrong for ruining my sister's wedding by exposing her fiancé's secret family? Edit, I'm reading all your comments and crying. Thank you to everyone who's telling me I did the right thing. I've been gaslighted by my family for so long that I was starting to doubt my own sanity. Edit 2, for people asking about the kids. Rebecca started a GoFundMe for legal fees and to help her transition to single motherhood. I donated what I could, not much, but it's something. She sent me a thank you message saying that even though this is horrible now, she's grateful her kids won't grow up thinking lies and deception are normal in a marriage. Edit 3. Emma texted me. Just saw it. It says, I hate you, but I know you saved me. Don't contact me for a while. So, progress? Edit 4. To the person who asked, yes, I still have all the wedding stuff I designed. Emma obviously doesn't want it. I'm thinking of donating it to a charity that helps low-income couples have nice weddings. At least someone should get some joy out of all that work. Update holy crap Reddit. Emma just called me sobbing. David apparently had another fiancé in Nevada that the FBI found. She was supposed to marry him next month. This man was planning to be a trigamist with 3 different families in 3 different states. I'm not the asshole. I stopped the actual criminal mastermind. Emma apologized and wants to get coffee tomorrow. My parents, well, they're still processing. But Emma said she loves me and she's sorry she didn't believe me. I'm crying again, but this time it's relief.